My online boyfriend was the spoiled playboy heir of City A. The night before our planned meetup, I accidentally overheard him telling his friends, just having fun. Never dated someone this poor and naive before. Meet in person? No way. If any of you are free, go in my place and ditch her. I didn't make a scene. The next day, I showed up at the designated spot as planned. I took the initiative to intertwine my fingers with the arriving man's hand. He gazed at me deeply but didn't pull away. That evening, Ethan called. His tone uncharacteristically respectful. "Daniel? You get rid of her?" Daniel looked at me perched on his lap. Voice hoarse, "Yeah. She's gone." Chapter 1. I came to meet Ethan in real life. He acted like facing a mortal threat, brushing me off with excuses about being busy. Until tonight, when I stealthily joined his gaming room. "I'm just messing around with Lily. She's from some backwater town, why would I take her seriously?" My heart dropped. Ethan's signature cocky drawl continued. "Why? Novelty. Never dated someone this poor and clueless before." His buddies snickered. "But she came all this way for you." Ugh. So annoying. Despite his words, Ethan couldn't hide the smugness. As if this proved his irresistible charm. "Ethan, you should at least meet her face to face." "Seriously, man. If you're not interested, tell her properly." Surprisingly, his friends sounded more decent than him. Ethan recoiled. "Meet? No fucking way. Might burn my retinas." "What? She ugly? The bitch refuses to send photos, probably a troll. And let's be real. What kind of looker comes from podunk towns?" Then Ethan added, "Hey. Which of you losers is free tomorrow? Go pretend to be me." "That's messed up. Relax. She's never seen me. Just blow her off." I thought no one would take the bait. Suddenly, a voice shattered the silence. "I'll go." Ethan froze. His tone turned obsequious. "Daniel, you don't have to. It's fine. I'm free tomorrow." The man called Daniel spoke with a deep, calm voice that sent electric currents through my skull. To be blunt, his voice could make angels faint. I checked his ID. Daniel Clark. Real name. Back when I played games with Ethan, his friends sometimes spectated. Daniel was among them. Strange how someone as arrogant as Ethan acted reverent around him. Wonder what kind of power he holds. My impression of Daniel remained vague. He rarely spoke. Why did he take the initiative to step forward? I exited the room feeling puzzled. After some thought, I texted Ethan, looking forward to meeting tomorrow. Half an hour later, he replied dismissively, "Haha. Same here." I pressed my lips into a faint smile, neither agreeing nor objecting. I showed up as planned. At the restaurant entrance, a guy caught my eye, towering over the crowd with striking icy beauty. He stood out effortlessly. I jogged over. "Ethan?" He blinked, studying me intently. "You're Lily?" "Yeah." I gave him a shy smile. "You're even hotter than I imagined." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Different from what I pictured." "How?" He didn't answer. But I knew. Ethan's stories had painted me as some frumpy wallflower in his mind. Today, I came specifically to prove him wrong. Staring at Daniel before me, I realized this revenge scheme might actually work in my favor. Gathering courage, I grabbed his hand. "Let's eat." Daniel froze, his gaze turning intense. True to his upbringing, Daniel remained the perfect gentleman throughout dinner, asking about my trip, whether I'd adjusted to the time zone. We fell into easy conversation, losing track of time until the clock hit 10 p.m. At my hotel entrance, he hesitated. I knew his mission, ditch Ethan's unwanted admirer. "Lily, call me Lily. My real name." "Lily. There's something I need to." "Wait." I dragged him into the adjacent convenience store. Heat flooded my cheeks as I grabbed condoms from the checkout counter. Buy a box. He'll pay. Daniel's eyebrows shot up. You're staying with me tonight. Right? I pleaded, unaware of the breathy desperation in my voice. He tilted my chin up, eyes darkening. You mean this? Yes. The facial recognition payment went through before I could second guess. Daniel's smirk told me there'd be no turning back now. I stood on tiptoe and kissed Daniel. He felt like restrained floodwaters behind a dam, unmoved by my teasing until I bit his lip hard enough to draw blood. Can't you perform? Should we stop? I taunted, pulling back only to have him seize my head and crush his mouth against mine in desperate proof. The dam broke. We stumbled from elevator to doorway. Our feverish embrace only interrupted when Daniel forced out ragged words, last chance, to reconsider. His heaving chest betrayed him despite the chivalrous offer. My fingers slid beneath his t-shirt, tracing defined abs in answer. Daniel turned tender yet unrestrained, murmuring Lily with deepened resonance between heated kisses. When his phone first rang during our entanglement, he silenced it with darkened gaze. Who? I asked. Friend. 3 persistent calls later. Ethan's voice pierced through our humid silence. Daniel. Why weren't you? I kept tracing patterns across Daniel's sweat-slicked shoulders as he growled busy into the receiver, technically truthful. Ethan's anxious follow-up. Did you send her away? Met Daniel's conflicted stare at me. She's gone. At Dawn's final reckoning. I whispered his real name. Daniel froze mid-thrust. How do you know? I've known. My confession earned a frustrated nip at my collarbone. Gentle despite his irritation. Later he confessed staying awake all night, rehearsing explanations. Why take Ethan's place? I finally asked, watching him button a crisp shirt. Daniel's fingers stilled. Those lemon cookies you baked? Heavenly. Someone who creates such warmth deserves closure, not humiliation. He tasted my care packages meant for Ethan, recognizing what his cousin never valued. I brought homemade cookies and pastries. It seemed Ethan hadn't eaten much himself, passing them off to others. You should know, I said apologetically. I only came to see you to get back at Ethan. Figured. I planned to exaggerate last night's events to Ethan. Let you two fight each other. And now? Now I realize he's the dog here. You seem human. He laughed, eyes crinkling with amusement. That's high praise coming from you? Anyway, I continued. My issues with Ethan shouldn't involve you. Daniel tousled my messy hair. Lily, let's make a deal. Go on. How about trying to like me starting today? After Daniel left, I remained dazed. His near confession caught me off guard. But clarity soon came. This wasn't real affection, just Daniel's sense of responsibility kicking in after our night together. Basic decency. Not actual feelings. Ethan had already blocked me everywhere, thinking Daniel completed whatever twisted mission he'd assigned. Little did he know Daniel secretly kept in touch with me. 2 weeks later, I arrived at Ethan's university for exchange student orientation. Originally from City B's college, I'd fought for this transfer spot to be near Ethan. Now I'd attend classes here, completely detached from him. During campus tour, our guide senior paused by the dining hall's honor roll. Ethan's photo glared back, chin cocked. Messy hair styled with rebellious gel. Trademark smirk twisting his lips. That's our campus troublemaker Ethan, the senior warned. His family practically owns half of City A. Steer clear. But why's he on the honor roll? Good grades? Please. She snorted. His family donated a library. See that guy next to him? She pointed at Daniel's serious portrait. Now that's a real scholar. But harder to approach than Ethan. Why? Leaning closer, she whispered dramatically, that's our campus troublemaker Ethan, the senior warned. His family practically owns half of City A. Steer clear. But why's he on the honor roll? Good grades? Please. She snorted. His family donated a library. See that guy next to him? She pointed at Daniel's serious portrait. Now that's a real scholar. But harder to approach than Ethan. Why? Leaning closer, she whispered dramatically, rumor says Daniel's from a political dynasty. Even Ethan calls him sir. Made sense, businessmen always kowtow to bureaucrats. As we approached the cafeteria, a tall figure burst through the door, silver gray hair defying gravity with aggressive styling. The senior nudged me urgently. That's Ethan. The campus legend himself stood arguing on his phone. That familiar arrogant stance making my stomach twist. Daniel. Have you eaten? Want me to bring something back? I was just. Ethan froze mid-sentence when he saw me. His eyes widening like halogen bulbs. For a split second, I wondered if he recognized me. Then he blurted. Holy shit! Daniel. Get this, I just spotted a total bombshell. Like. Straight out of my fantasy level hot. His booming Jersey accent turned heads across the quad. I ducked my chin, wishing the pavement would swallow me whole. He tailed me all the way to the dorm entrance. What's your name? Freshman? You're not from around here, right? I'm Ethan. Seriously. Anything you need. God. This idiot. How did I ever fall for his cheesy pickup lines during those late-night Discord calls? When he insisted on carrying my duffel upstairs. His gaze landed on my nameplate. Lily Johnson? That's poetic. I kept my expression icy, though my stomach flipped. Back when we'd online dated, I'd gone by Rainey. He'd never known my real name. He tried asking me out for pizza as he left. Against my better judgment, I smirked. Sure. His grin could have powered the campus grid. The QR code scan froze him mid-motion. His phone screen lit up with my old Discord handle, Rainey. His tanned face paled to printer paper white. You're Rainey? Yep. But I mean, his Adam's apple bobbed. I tapped his profile still logged into my phone. Did you steal my ex's account? What? No. I mean yes. Wait, sweat beaded his temple. Okay, truth? I'm your ex. Well, sort of. That guy who showed up for our meetup? That was my frat brother Alex. I chickened out last minute and sent him instead. Please don't hate me. His Nike squeaked against the linoleum as he shifted weight, looking more terrified than the time he'd accidentally live-streamed his calculus cheat sheet to the whole class. The guilty look on Ethan's face was downright hilarious. He rattled off a few more details, desperately trying to prove his identity. Finally, he asked tentatively, "Do you believe me now? If what you're saying is true, then you're a liar who tricked me into meeting someone else." No. The more Ethan explained, the deeper he sank. You came all this way, ghosting you would have been inhuman. I had to improvise. Such consideration, I remarked, maintaining a faint smile. Then why dump me immediately after? Well, I thought we'd be long distance forever. Didn't want to hold you back. His complexion paled under my steady gaze. Lily, if you don't believe me, I'll have my buddy explain everything. No need for theatrics. Then let me add you back. Don't bother. My smile widened. I have this policy about not revisiting past mistakes. Undeterred, Ethan kept scheming. He even bribed my roommate Emily. That weekend, Emily dragged me to a shooting range where Ethan's gleaming grin greeted us. I turned to leave. Lily. Wait. Emily grabbed my arm. Haven't you heard of loyalty? I snapped. Come on. Ethan's family's covering everything. Free entertainment. Her wheedling tone solidified my decision to distance myself from this traitor. Ethan approached. Lily. I brought someone to clear this up. Before I could protest, he waved at Daniel approaching behind me. Our eyes met in loaded silence. This is Daniel. You've met. Met? That's putting it mildly. What exactly needs clarifying? I had an emergency that day. So Daniel went instead. Right. Dan? Ethan nudged. But Daniel remained silent. The awkward pause stretched until Emily chimed in. Daniel's just quiet. Quiet. I mused. Did his silence extend to not mentioning what happened between us that night? Panic flashed across their faces. Wait, why would Emily look guilty too? My suspicion sharpened as Ethan's forced chuckle died. Daniel's unreadable expression gave nothing away, yet somehow explained everything. Why was Emily panicking? What did she have to do with this? What happened between you and him? She looked even more nervous than Ethan, staring eagerly at Daniel. I understood. She was Daniel's fangirl. We had dinner together and had a pleasant conversation. That's all. Is that true? Daniel? Daniel glanced at me. Lily's always right. Both of them sighed in relief simultaneously. Did no one catch the hidden meaning in Daniel's words? If I'm always right, even when lying, then we'd reached an unspoken understanding. No wonder you ignored my 3 messages that night. Ethan said you were meeting some online girl. I was heartbroken for days. Emily complained, tugging Daniel's arm to walk ahead, deliberately leaving me alone with Ethan. Her clumsy manipulation made my skin crawl. I told Ethan, you should date Emily. You two would make a perfect match. Don't be ridiculous. We're barely acquaintances. But Emily doesn't see it that way. What's that supposed to mean? I smiled without explaining. Ethan ran with his own crowd, kids like Daniel who weren't exactly ordinary. Emily desperately wanted into that circle. She'd constantly mention my buddy Ethan in the dorm. Today, watching her fetch drinks and laugh too loudly at Ethan's jokes. She'd clearly appointed herself as part of their group. Never mind. Ethan, let me make this clear again, even if you get 100 people to vouch for you or declare it 10,000 times. I'm not interested. Why? We had something good when we were dating online. Because I hate liars. Ethan froze like he'd been tasered. I entered a private shooting range booth. Never having handled a gun before, I fumbled awkwardly. Just as I considered quitting, warm fingers gently covered my right hand, steadying the weapon. Like this. Daniel's voice brushed my ear. I jerked my head up. Why are you here? Finally ditched Emily. Let me hide here a while. You don't like her? Scout's honor, never did. He paused, then added hastily. Turned her down multiple times. But she's like Ethan, no takes hints. Got it. With Daniel coaching, I eventually hit the target. As I celebrated, he asked quietly, why didn't you tell them the truth earlier? Didn't want to watch you and Ethan burn bridges. Lately I'd pieced things together. However much of a player Ethan was romantically, he somehow remained wildly popular. Daniel's arm brushed mine as he adjusted my stance, smelling faintly of gunpowder and mint. The targets kept spinning, but my world had narrowed to the steady pressure of his hand guiding mine. Daniel wanted to be friends with him for a reason. There was another factor too. If this gets out, it'll damage your reputation. I said. I don't really care about that. Daniel glanced at me before adding, but you're right. Let's keep it quiet for now. He was worried about me. Because I'm a girl. He feared people would judge me more harshly. Another round? Sure. Daniel guided my stance again, his left hand resting on my waist while his right covered mine on the trigger, effectively pulling me into his embrace. The moment our bullet pierced the bullseye, voices carried through the door. Daniel? Emily says she can't find you. Ethan pushed it open. The shooting bench between us reached waist height. By the time Ethan entered, we'd already stepped apart. Both of you here? His eyes narrowed as they darted between us. Yeah. Daniel answered calmly. Teaching her some shooting techniques. Emily needs lessons too. Why not stop pushing her on me? How many times must I say I'm not interested? Daniel's tone remained steady yet carried unmistakable finality. Emily turned pale in the doorway. Ethan's habitual smirk vanished. Then why teach Lily? Because you like her? The question detonated like unexpected gunfire. Silence gripped the range. Before Daniel could respond, Ethan forced a laugh. Just kidding. That wasn't funny. I said. Agreed. Ethan clicked his tongue, regretting asking Daniel to catfish for me now. Should have been me teaching you. Whose fault is that? I smiled sweetly. Ethan's prominent under-eye bags flushed pink, a telltale sign of agitation. Though his grin stayed fixed, the crimson hue betrayed him. Seriously though, Daniel, what's your type? Someone who looks obedient but refuses to be controlled. Sounds specific. Does it? Currents of unspoken tension swirled between us. Invisible to Ethan. Behind the shooting bench, Daniel never released my hand. Back on campus, Emily cried for days after being rejected, again, by Senior Daniel. One night she confronted me, Lily. Why won't you give Ethan a chance? Just not into him. Are you playing hard to get? I stared at Emily like she was insane. Ethan is such a great guy, handsome, loaded, and generous. Where else would you find someone like that? I couldn't care less about his money. Keep lying to yourself. Ethan never dated anyone longer than 2 weeks before. The fact that he's pursuing you this long means he's seriously into you. You should be thrilled. I snorted. Dumping girls every 2 weeks just proves he's a player with zero patience. What's so impressive about that? Emily. I said calmly. You know what you remind me of right now? What? Those sycophantic sidekicks in period dramas who treat the emperor's every fart like a royal decree. Emily looked ready to explode. She launched into a tirade. I let her words go in one ear and out the other. Finally, I dropped the mic. Some advice: don't force yourself into social circles where you don't belong. Ethan and Daniel's friendship developed cracks. They still hung out, but their camaraderie felt as authentic as plastic flowers. I occasionally played mobile games, which was actually how I first connected with Ethan. During May Day break, the game company hosted an offline convention in City A. Our whole dorm decided to attend. Emily hadn't been interested until she heard everyone was going, then insisted on tagging along. Of course, we ran into Ethan and Daniel at the venue. The place was packed. When we tried grabbing lunch, every nearby restaurant was jammed. Not a single empty table in sight. That's when Emily spotted them. Senior. Ethan. What a coincidence. Here for the event too? Ethan's group had booked a private room that wasn't full. Emily suggested with practiced ease. Let's combine tables. 8 people total, perfect fit. Sure thing. My treat. Ethan agreed readily. My phone buzzed with a notification. Daniel frowny face, see that male swordsman cosplayer? I glanced across the table at Daniel. He appeared completely composed. Gaze lowered. Our conversation flowed effortlessly from majors to gaming, no topic was off limits. Finding someone who just got it was exhilarating. Me frowny face, yeah. Looks awesome. Daniel frowny face, you like it? Me frowny face, love it. The male swordsman's my favorite character. Daniel frowny face, thinking of trying cosplay myself. Me frowny face as the swordsman? Daniel frowny face, think I could pull it off? Me frowny face, absolutely. Show me when you do. Daniel frowny face, just for you. Electricity zinged through my veins. I hadn't fully processed these feelings yet. Beside me, Emily suddenly leaned over. Lily, who are you texting? I immediately flipped my phone face down. Don't look at my screen without permission. Come on. She pouted. I wasn't sneaking a peek. You were smiling so brightly, Why not share the fun? Was I smiling? You totally were. Others chimed in. Looked pretty happy there. Watching something funny? Share the link. I hadn't realized I'd been unconsciously grinning. My gaze flickered to Daniel. Even his eyes held faint amusement. The group created a chat on the spot. Reluctantly, I shared all the meme templates from my photo gallery. Later, the conversation shifted. A guy asked, "Hey Daniel, didn't you mention having a crush on someone recently?" Daniel nodded. Yeah. Holy shit! The Ice King actually has feelings? A miracle happening. Ethan's cracking jokes about iron trees blooming. Emily tensed instantly. Who? Someone I know? Daniel shrugged. Not sharing details yet. Is she from our school? Not telling. His lips stayed sealed. When Daniel clammed up, no amount of prying worked. Emily deflated like a punctured balloon, pushing her food around listlessly. Ethan suddenly interjected. Give us a hint. Daniel. We'll help you investigate. No need. I'm handling it. The table froze at his words. Wait, you're actually pursuing someone? Never thought I'd see the day. Usually girls chase you. Daniel smirked. When you find someone special, you make moves. How's the chase going? Spill. After consideration, Daniel deadpanned. Dressing up in cosplay for her. I nearly choked on my tea. Oblivious to the innuendo. Our romance-savvy crew's minds instantly veered into the gutter. Already at the roleplay stage? My bad, worried you'd be clueless. But you're playing 4D chess here. Daniel's expression frosted over. Purge Daniel. You can't just cosplay to chase a girl. You need to spend money too, get her gifts girls actually like. I already did. The limited edition necklace from me. What? Another guy jerked his head up. You bought this year's limited edition? No wonder. Only one piece arrived in all of City A. My girlfriend wanted it. But the brand said it was sold. I was wondering which clueless bastard. Sorry Daniel. My girl sent me photos too. Another guy chimed in. The pink diamond on the crescent moon design? Since it's limited edition, they slapped an extra 0 on the price tag. My stomach dropped. No way. The necklace Ethan gave me last week, the one he'd casually tossed over saying, I bought these for all my female relatives and had one extra. Keep it as a trinket, was the city's only limited edition piece? My not exactly bright roommate suddenly gasped. Wait, moon with a pink diamond? I tried to cover her mouth. Too late. Lily! Show them what's around your neck. Our Lily has one just like it. Obviously not the same one. But come on! Let these rich snobs witness the power of budget-friendly replicas. Good news, she didn't suspect mine came from Daniel. Bad news, revealing it now meant total exposure. Every eye locked onto me. Especially Ethan's. His smile vanished. Knuckles whitening. Daniel noticed my discomfort and deflected with a laugh. Spare my pride. Will you? If a $100 knockoff looks identical to my $10K necklace, I might cry myself to sleep. His joke successfully diverted attention. The necklace incident stayed buried until our afternoon return to campus. After visiting the faculty office, I found Ethan waiting in the shadowed corridor. Stripped of his usual swagger, he looked unnervingly intense. Lily. I've been waiting. Need something? Yeah. His gaze burned into mine. Let me see that necklace. Realizing concealment was pointless, I unclasped it. See clearly enough? Red rimmed his eyes as he inspected it. Authentic. Daniel gave it to me. He's pursuing you? 4 months now. From the very first day we met. Ethan's pupils contracted sharply, his fists trembling as they clenched. I curled my lips into a smile. Angry? Want to punch him so badly? But Ethan, you're the one who pushed me into his arms. Truthfully, Ethan had suspected it all along. Yet hearing me confirm it differed entirely from his own speculations. With every word I spoke, the color drained from his face. Why date me online? Because you'd never tried someone poor and naive like me. Why refuse to meet? Because a small-town girl must be some catfish who doesn't deserve you. Why send a replacement? Because you needed someone to dump me on. Ethan choked out. Did Daniel tell you all this? No. I heard it myself. I opened my phone, pulling up the game's back-end records. The night before our planned meetup, I logged into your voice channel invisibly. Meant to surprise you with news about transferring to your school, no more long distance. Turns out, you surprised me first. Ethan turned ghostly pale, unable to refute a single word. You should actually thank Daniel. He never spoke ill of you once. I'm sorry, Lily. I apologize for everything I said. Ethan bowed deeply at me, his remorse more earnest than I'd anticipated. I was immature before, but I swear I'm serious now. Let's try dating properly. For the sake of our good online memories. Give me another chance? Then answer me this. Anything. What flavor were the first homemade cookies I mailed you? Ethan hesitated. Milk. What about later batches? Orange? Strawberry? Wrong. I told you I only make chocolate. His eyes widened. Where are my cookies? Ethan? I ate them too fast to notice. Let me guess, you tossed them to your frat brothers without looking. Even gave some to girls. Right? My voice stayed calm. Your face says I'm correct. Know how I figured it out? Emily still had my cookies on her desk. I remembered how she draped her legs over the desk, her heel crushing the cookie tin. This? Ethan said to trash it if I didn't want it. Tastes decent though, you know where to buy these? My smile turned bitter. Those cookies held my sincerity. Even though I no longer liked Ethan, seeing my care treated so carelessly still stung. Wiping away the sadness, I leveled him with an icy stare. So Ethan, you've only got yourself to blame. That evening, campus exploded with gossip. Every group chat blazed with the news Ethan and Daniel had brawled, both ending up hospitalized. They were supposed to be close, right? Why did they fight? Rumors swirled relentlessly. I rushed to the hospital without hesitation. Emily had already given up on Daniel. When she saw the news, she merely bit her lip and suppressed her curiosity. But I didn't realize, after I left, Emily sent Ethan a text. She's heading to the hospital. Make your move. At the hospital, Ethan paced anxiously upon receiving the message. A sliver of hope lingered, maybe I'd come to see him. During our online dating days, he'd confessed his fear of pain. His father used to whip him with a belt whenever business went south, leaving faint scars on his buttocks that remain to this day. The trauma made him recoil from violence. Despite his tough exterior, everyone assumed he'd be good at fighting. Truth was, he'd never thrown a punch before today. That afternoon, Ethan had stormed into Daniel's dorm, grabbing him by the collar. You're the one who pushed Lily into my arms, Daniel stated calmly, echoing words I'd once said. This twisted synchronicity infuriated Ethan. What gives you the right to question me now? Her ex? Daniel challenged. I'll win her back. Learn to respect her first before talking about winning anyone back. Cut the crap, Ethan snapped, suddenly remembering my past concern. Daniel, tell me the truth, was it really just dinner that night? Daniel remained silent, honoring my privacy. His unflinching gaze spoke volumes. How far did it go? Ethan's voice shook. Holding hands? Kissing? Did you sleep together? The silent confrontation confirmed his worst fears. You bastard. Ethan swung first, but underestimated his opponent. Though quiet and unassuming, Daniel came from military stock. By the end, Ethan bore more bruises. Now pacing his hospital room, Ethan rehearsed apologies. Would feigning vulnerability work? Lily knew his aversion to pain and violence. Surely she'd show compassion, wouldn't she? Ethan Miller walked and walked. After waiting for an hour with no results, he pushed open the door and asked the nurse outside, "Has there been a tall girl with long hair come by? Johnson?" The nurse glanced at the visitor log. "She went to the room next to yours. The adjacent room belonged to Daniel Clark." I rushed straight to Daniel's room. Fortunately, his injuries weren't too severe. I breathed a sigh of relief. When I heard you two fought until hospitalization, I was terrified. I thought. Daniel comfortingly patted my hair. "You thought it was like in the movies where internal organs get ruptured?" "Yeah. How horrifying." "Don't worry. We're not kids anymore. We know our limits." I pursed my lips. Ethan's personality is no different from a child's. Daniel asked, "Have you gone to see him yet?" "No." "You came to me first?" "Yeah." He smiled genuinely. "That's great. This time I didn't miss out." "What do you mean?" Daniel cleared his throat. "Raindrop guru. I'm not quite getting this problem. Can you teach me?" My eyes widened instantly. "Wait. It's me." Daniel's eyes sparkled with amusement. Fragments of memories suddenly flashed through my mind. Before knowing Ethan, I'd registered on an academic forum using the username Raindrop with a profile picture of my parents' dog. One day, I came across a post by Morning Wisdom containing an unsolved advanced calculus problem. This was right in my wheelhouse. I quickly jotted down the solution and uploaded a photo. Our interactions continued, sometimes troubleshooting equations, sometimes discussing literature. When life grew hectic, I abandoned the forum, letting our digital connection fade naturally. Later through gaming, I met Ethan. Then Daniel. "You're that Morning Wisdom?" I asked. "Yes. Technically speaking, I knew you before Ethan did." "Then why didn't you say anything?" "When Ethan introduced you to us, you were already his girlfriend." Daniel's version unfolded differently. During our forum days, he'd idolized my intellect and wanted to meet. Though knowing my university, he lacked specifics about my major or name. When he finally mustered courage to ask me out, I'd already stopped logging in. 4 months later, Ethan dragged Raindrop into our gaming squad. Daniel froze seeing the familiar username and canine avatar. "Raindrop's my girlfriend. We just started dating," Ethan announced. Daniel initially remained skeptical, the digital ghost of his academic crush now materializing as his best friend's sweetheart. How could it be such a coincidence? The same ID paired with identical profile pictures. Later, when I accidentally mentioned my school, it deepened his suspicions. To confirm his hypothesis, Daniel once posted a calculus problem in the public chat. Ethan groaned. "We're gaming here and you throw calculus at us?" Daniel. "Just kill me already." Yet I calmly typed out the solution. That's when Daniel became absolutely certain of my identity. But it was too late. He'd watched silently as Ethan and I developed our online relationship. Never uttering a word. Couldn't bring himself to. He waited patiently until the perfect moment arrived when Ethan declared he didn't want to meet in person. That's when Daniel finally unmuted his mic. "Now it makes sense," I said after hearing his explanation. "You're a sapiosexual." With everything out in the open, I accepted Daniel's confession. "Starting now, I'm your boyfriend?" "Correct." "Meaning Ethan's out of the running?" "Affirmative." Daniel cradled my face, kissing me with pent-up intensity. I mumbled against his lips. "Easy there. We're still in the hospital." "When did I last kiss you?" 6 months ago, our first meeting, half a year of restraint. His thumb brushed my lower lip. Voice gravelly. Once you taste ambrosia, those obsidian eyes threatened to swallow me whole. The door swung open. What are you doing? Ethan stood trembling in the doorway, knuckles white on the handle. Relax, I said, putting 2 fingers width between Daniel and myself. Just admiring my boyfriend's eyes. We've got standards, he's still recovering. Boyfriend? Official as of, I checked my watch. 60 seconds before you barged in. Ethan's voice cracked. Was I too late? You already cut in line once. I shrugged. Turns out queue jumping doesn't guarantee results. He didn't catch the reference. Didn't care. Lily. Present. Don't I matter at all? His bandaged hand pressed against his chest. My injuries are worse. This hurts. Everything hurts. The doctors will fix you up. You never used to be this cold. His eyes were completely bloodshot. Whether from exhaustion or something else. I couldn't tell. You said you ached for my childhood and would help me heal. Ethan pressed. I did. I answered softly. I tried. Regardless of the outcome. I genuinely tried. During those months of online relationship with Ethan, I'd been fully committed. I'd grieved for his traumatic upbringing, joined him in resenting his father. But his vulnerability had only been a ploy to bind me tighter to him. In the end, the careless one got burned by his own games. Now, it was time to move forward. My exchange year at University A would soon end, and I'd return to City B's University B. Coincidentally, Daniel was from Metro B. When he graduated a year later, he too went back. We never left each other's orbit. Ethan later stopped coming to campus. He went abroad. I only learned of his departure that morning. He claimed this time. His feelings for me were real, and for once, I believed him. Even Ethan had his day of being unable to let someone go. The ache drove him overseas to escape. On his flight day, he texted me. Beneath the carefully constructed tone, I detected lingering smugness. I replied, frowny face, if there's no fate left. Let's never meet again. As for Emily, after Daniel and I got together, she barely spoke to me. But she never caused trouble either. I think she truly loved him once. Loving someone isn't a crime. I held no grudge. After graduating from University B, I got accepted into a graduate program. On commencement day, Emily's message popped up, frowny face Lily. Though we were only roommates for a year. Wishing you joy today and smooth seas ahead. She'd moved on. Smiling. I typed back, frowny face, may your future shine even brighter. Tucking away my phone, I looked across the quad. Daniel stood there, holding flowers for my graduation ceremony. A phrase floated through my mind, keep looking forward. The right person waits in your tomorrows. End.